everybody, I'm Wendy and this is my partner Karen, and we're both part of LiceDoctors, and we're here to share some questions with you that we get from our customers. Today we're going to talk about lice policies in schools. Now Karen, does every school have the same lice policy or do they differ from one another?
Okay, so many years ago, even as few as 10 or 15 years ago, I would have answered almost every school has at least a similar lice policy, and that is what we call a no-nit lice policy. A no-nit lice policy is what it means. Nobody with nits in their hair is allowed to stay in school, and nits are the eggs that the lice lay. So if a school nurse were to check the hair, which they used to do in the beginning of the school year and then usually another time during the year, after Christmas vacation, or if a case showed up in a classroom, all the kids in the classroom were checked. And if a nurse found a student with nits in the hair, the student was sent home right away. And the thinking behind that was that if you have nits, that means you have an active contagious case. The whole thinking towards this has changed. And about a little over 10 years ago, the American Association of Pediatrics and the National Association of School Nurses, and followed by the CDC, all changed their position on this. The new position is children with head lice are allowed to remain in school until the end of the day, and then they should be sent home to be treated. Now, Wendy, in every school district, there can be variations on this.
Okay.
These are recommendations. They are not mandates.
Okay, so each school makes their own policy.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
Now, what we've seen is that more and more schools are loosening their head lice policy criteria. Whereas the majority of schools 10 years ago had no-nit policies, today the majority of schools do not have no-nit policies. They've dropped it. They no longer have school nurses checking the children, and here's the thinking behind that. By the time a child has been checked and any signs of nits or lice are discovered in the hair, the child has likely been in the classroom for over 3 weeks, during which time she's had ample opportunity to spread lice to others. So the thinking was too little, too late. In addition, nits are not contagious. That means that if you have head lice and you see live bugs, those are contagious. The bugs move from one head to another, they crawl. But nits are stuck to the hair, they're the eggs, and they are not contagious. So if a child has just nits in the hair, she's not contagious. Once the nits hatch, she is contagious, but we don't know when that's going to be.
Okay.
And another part of the problem is too many children were missing too much school. So it was becoming very problematic for some children who just could not get a grasp on the head lice problem, and some kids who were not considered ill, but they had head lice, were missing weeks of school. So it became, according to these aforementioned organizations, too onerous to prevent children with just nits or with a case of head lice from coming back to school, from staying in school and coming back to school. Now what happens is, if you are found, in most schools, if you're found to have head lice, you can remain in school until the end of the day, then sent home with a note or a phone call to the parents advising them that they must treat the child before the child returns to school the next day. And as long as there are signs that the child has been treated, then a child can remain in school with nits in the hair until the nits are finally gone, and they will not go away by themselves. They need to be treated. If you cannot treat them yourself, that's where a professional comes in. So today, even though schools have dropped their no-nit policies, it's still important to treat the head lice because they won't go away by themselves. And eventually the school is going to say to you, okay, you have not taken care of this problem, and it's not okay that you have nits in the hair after 2 weeks, or whatever the time limit is that the schools determine. So there's still variety among schools, but the bottom line is most schools have or are moving away from no nit policies.
Okay, thank you, Karen. That was very comprehensive, and I think that answered the question. So join us again for our next question, and have a nice day.
Okay, thanks so
Bye
much.
now.
Bye.